That 2.9 that is going to be a cost to the state, could you expand on that? Because in reality, it may be an expense to the state, but what is it costing us as far as those employees that are tied up doing this and they're not doing other things, and there's kind of an unspoken cost because other areas are not being addressed. And also, while the company E-System is doing some of the caseload, will that totally relieve our county operations of it, or will they be running parallel tracks beside them to get it done at a quicker rate? Can you talk on that?
All right, sure. I'll start with you and let Mary take it. The cost, I mean, it's funny, none of us have yet had time to try to run any sort of analysis of the cost of the turnover that we experience. But that's huge, obviously, because you have to, when you're running turnover percents in this area that are in the 30% range, that means you're constantly hiring and training a third of your workforce. This is a very complicated type of training. But where we also see it is in areas like our work around SNAP, our work around T. You all have seen it and heard from your constituents in terms of the rates around calls. If you call a county office, all of the work that's going on there and all of the calls that are coming in because people are not getting processed, and so they keep calling, they keep calling, they keep calling, and the call wait times get longer. This has just got the entire operation messed up because it sits in the middle of it and makes things unworkable. I know there's a cost that we don't even see on the state side to those providers who are carrying on their ledgers these services they're providing, and they can't get paid for them. So that's out there as well. So this cost for us is minimal compared to the cost that we on the other side. I don't know, and somebody may well ask this, we don't know until we get these processing through, how many of these people that are in change of circumstance are actually people who will now come off of Medicaid. So there is a savings there. On the other hand, there may be people that are in there that will change their category of coverage, and there may be an increase there. So we can't tell yet how that part will wash out. But we can tell that we have a huge cost in our labor, just in terms of the turnover under it, and the training that's under it, and the slowness in time as we have to keep training people on this complex system. Mary, do you want to address the side-by-side and try to...
Well, honestly, for the sake of time, I think they gave the picture of respect to the chair, but are we paying overtime to the employees, or because ours are cut off at 4:30, there is no overtime that we're going to be able to save out of the current workforce that would go toward neutralizing this $2 million?
Well, we do have workers and clerical workers at this point working overtime. It's on a voluntary basis. But I would foresee as this backlog, or as we get this overdue work caught up, as Maximus does their part to help us catch this work up, then we'll have less and less of a need to have our staff working overtime. So
So we're going to spend $2 million is how we want to spend it. What's the most efficient way? And the second thing is AFMC the only company in the state of Arkansas that can do this? Or why were they exclusively mentioned on this? Because that's a pretty sizable amount that they're getting. So is it sake of time that we didn't put this out on RFP, or what was your decision there?
Partly sake of time, because we go for a competitive bid. We're looking 3 to 6 months from now, and we hope to be done by then. But also, they do have a call center that already does this type of Medicaid beneficiary work directly for us. If you would like to just mention that.
yes, they have a contract already with DHS for beneficiary relations and provider relations for the Medicaid program. So this contract, we are able to use that and amend that existing contract vehicle to expand this work so that they can take more of our Medicaid calls.
I mean, it means they're already working in the space, and their people are already into our Medicaid program and know it, and therefore it's easier for us to use them than to use a call center that isn't doing Medicaid, and we'd have to train them on our programs and how it works.
All right, thanks for that, Mr. Chair.
Representative Gray, recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And first of all, I just want you to know, thank you. I mean, truly thank you. We deal with this, no, I know I do, and lots of other legislators almost on a daily basis. And that's part of, I think, why we've been so cranky is maybe not the right word, but upset with DHS over some of these issues. And just to see that you recognize the problem, you've done the work to pull the numbers, which is what we've been asking for a year. And you've actually, like Senator Hendren said, come up with a plan to, mitigate our current circumstance. I could be okay with the I waiver at this point, just because you've done this. That's terrible, isn't it? I'm just kidding, really. This is such a big deal for our county workers. I hear how overworked they are, they're stressed. We're lucky that the turnover rate is only as high as it is, and I've got the call center that's located in Batesville. It's within one of the counties that's in my district, but right outside. But they are mine as far as I'm concerned. And I know they've got about a 33% turnover rate. Just the amount of time it takes to train this new 33% is unreal. So with this, I just thank you very much. Is there a way, I guess, with the current contract with Curum, we are rather far behind in our updating of the system based on what I've been told from an IT standpoint. And that if we were to get fully updated to the version that we should be at right now, a lot of the problems that we're doing this, which I agree needs to be done, in the future we wouldn't have to do. So is there a plan to get us updated system-wide so that we are on the current version of Curum? Just to essentially try and keep some of this from happening in the future.
Yes, sir, that is in the work plan as we work through the system over the rest of this year. And I think it's worth pointing out that one of the reasons that we are behind upon those updates is because in the early years, we had to do so much customization to account for the defects and limitations of the software. And so we were having to do that in order to keep the system running. Now I have to go back and undo some of those. Where we may have fixed the problem one way, the software is now fixed in a different way, is where to undo the old problems that are applied to update. But that is a continuing process that is going through this year.
And there are updates that are scheduled, one coming very shortly, 1.13, followed by later this month, early July, 1.14. There's a whole series of scheduled these updates, and we're trying to do nothing that disrupts that. We want that to happen, we want it to keep moving. But part of the reason we are doing this is because, and I'm not a technology person, but I just look at it from a simplistic level and go, okay, if we did all of that at the end of this year, would this backlog be gone? Well, no, because it would still require a caseworker to go do it. Okay, fine. You guys keep going on that track, and meanwhile we're going to go clear the backlog with manpower. I think sometimes we expect technology and technology fixes to accomplish miracles that still require a human being to do something in the system. And so we're trying to do a combination.
Okay. Representative Sullivan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Pardon me, I think I'm one of the cranky ones that have been calling your office. I appreciate it. I know you inherited this problem.
That's how I learned more about it, is as, I don't know if people understand, when y'all go through constituent services, she is part of our office, and she sits down with our executive team, and we get a report every week, and she walks us through it, and that helped us to understand how bad this problem was becoming. So we thank you for doing that.
I appreciate what you've inherited. I just want to kind of make one comment to the point. We've talked a lot about our employees and the impact it has on them. This is really impacting not 9,000 people, but 9,000 people every day. In my district, we had a child that did not get their medication and was kicked out of school and had to go to alternative school. That's the impact that has on this. And I just would encourage you to continue on that and realize there's more about our people that we have than our employees.
I 100% agree. And it's, I think nothing, like I said, one of the reasons why when I started this, I talked about the fact that we have such a good foundation of employees is because that's what they say to me. That's where their hearts are, is that they're frustrated that they cannot help these people. And I could not agree with you more. This
Well,
is something we have to do.
If their frustration level is that, just imagine what it is for a patient that
Okay.
can't get that every day.
And they call our offices, and they're upset, and they're crying, and it's incredibly frustrating to then hear we can't process it through the system. I agree with you 100%.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, members, that's all we have, and again, I think we've all, I think all of us in the task force want to commend you guys for bringing us a solution to this problem, and not just a solution, but an aggressive solution that's going to have a goal to have it fixed by the end of this year. I think that would be pretty much unprecedented as far as action to solve a problem of this size. So appreciate it. We hope it works. Again, legislators will have to weigh in on that in July, and hopefully that will smooth, get through. You guys can be started August 1st as you hope. We're going to go ahead and more than likely take the rest of the time with the Stephen group, and the items that you did not be able to cover, we'll just postpone to our July meeting. So if you have any final parting shots or comments you'd like to make, I'll give you a chance to do that, and then John, you and your bunch will be up.
Only final comment would be to say thank you. I mean, not just thank you for the one-on-one meetings that I had with many of you, where I got a good sense of some of the issues, including this backlog that I knew was hard to get in and find. But also, thank you for the work you've done. As you can see, we are working closely with the Stevens Group and closely around a lot of the work you've done to get us great. You know, that did not start when I got here. I learned that the team at DHS had already been working very closely with John and his team. John told me, they told me. I think you'll find that a lot of the work and effort you put in, we have taken and we appreciate it. And we're trying to move fast now to move things along. And my final parting comment would be this. There is a lot to be worked on at DHS. What you saw today is just the first of many things. I mean, we discussed PCFS a little bit earlier in Boston. There's a lot to be worked on. I'm going at it the only way I know how to. As I find things, as people give me issues and problems, as they surface from our team at every level, we're collecting it. I'm calling it a fix-it list at this point, for lack of a better phrase, and we're triaging and starting to work on it. We can't do it all at once. So we're going to try to take those things that, like this, and really put a lot of power to them, find a solution, and then move on to the next one. So, and I guess finally, I get just as cranky as y'all, as they will tell you, as they kept bringing me numbers. I'd say, Mary, I'm not shooting the messenger, but wow, this is awful. So, if I ever get cranky, understand that that's probably why sometimes. So, thank you very much.
Okay, before we take off, Representative Ferguson, we'd like to make a comment. You're recognized.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to make, y'all are leaving, I wanted to make a comment. I know you don't hear positive things very often, so for one thing, I'm very grateful for the changes in making DHS, and actually, I think all of us just want to know that things are being done and we're moving in the right direction. But I particularly want to thank Don and the team that's worked on the dental managed care contract. They have been delightful. I can't tell you how nice and responsive they've been. We've had 2 stakeholder meetings with 30 or 40 people there. They've been very responsive to our public comments and have just been very transparent and delightful to work with. So thank you a lot.
Thank you. I have a great team. I'm very lucky.
Great. Don't expect this kind of reception every time. Okay, John, you guys on our sleep back